My name is Ethan Parker, and I am 34 years old. For as long as I can remember, my wealthy parents treated me like their built-in help while my younger sister, Ashley, floated through life like a visiting queen. Every holiday, every family function, I was the guy in the kitchen while she charmed our parents' friends under chandeliers. It was the kind of arrangement that drains dignity drip by drip until you forget what dignity tastes like. But on the night that changed everything, December 23rd, my mother called with one more command, and something inside me finally clicked. What followed wasn't just a simple refusal. It was the beginning of a chain reaction that would unravel a carefully constructed family image in front of the very people they were most desperate to impress. I was in my Seattle apartment, 2 bedrooms, open brick, view of the hill lights, folding shirts into my suitcase when my phone lit up with Mom. I already braced for impact. Back in Wellesley, Massachusetts, our family home always turned into a glossy magazine spread for the holidays. I knew, because I was the one who usually climbed the ladder and swaddled the banister in garland. She skipped hello and immediately ordered me to cancel whatever nonsense I had planned for the next day. She informed me that Ashley was hosting her networking circle for 32 very important people, and that I was expected to arrive by noon to cook 6 mains and 12 sides from a menu she had already prepared. Ashley's networking circle. Of course, she works in PR and collects people like jewelry. I glanced at my laptop. An email from Olivia Ramos, CEO of Horizon Hospitality, glowed on the screen. If my mother knew about that email, she would have fainted on principle. Use the good china, Mom added. These aren't your usual crowd from wherever you hang out in Seattle. These are people who matter. People who matter. Translation, not me. I'll text you the menu, she finished. Don't embarrass us. She hung up. I looked down at my ticket to San Diego. Departure time, 7:20 p.m. on the 23rd. My hand didn't shake. Not anymore. After a lifetime of this, I'd finally learned the difference between their emergency and my priority. Memories rolled in like cold tide. A lifetime of being visible only when a roasting pan needed lifting. Every Thanksgiving since I was 21, Ethan will handle the cooking while Ashley entertains. Every Christmas party, Ashley is our brilliant PR star. Ethan, well, he's helping out. The memory of Ashley's engagement party last summer was the sharpest. I remember the smell of burnt sugar from a failed creme brulee at 2 a.m. and the ache in my lower back after 13 hours of prepping canapes, all while she held court in a dress that cost more than my first car. When one of the guests asked my mother what I did, she actually laughed. Ethan doesn't have Ashley's social sparkle, but he's handy in a kitchen. I set the blazer in the suitcase and reached for the second bag. Inside, in a leather folio, sat the contract that would change everything. My company's name, North Star Events, was embossed in silver across the top. I chose that name on purpose. No Parker. No family flag to wave or hide behind. For 6 years, I'd built in silence. 42 employees across 4 locations, a client list that included luxury resorts and major corporations. And tomorrow, while my family expected me to crawl back to Wellesley and saute until my lungs smelled like butter, I had a dinner and presentation that would secure a contract worth $1,800,000. My phone buzzed. Ashley, Mom says you're cooking tomorrow. Don't mess it up. Important people will be there. I looked at my boarding pass again. Flight 729 to San Diego, departing at 7:20 p.m. Not this time. 2 signals had told me exactly where I stood in my family, and I'd ignored both. First signal, how they introduced me. At the Newton Country Club last month, my father told his golf buddy, Ashley is our success story. Ethan is between gigs. Between gigs, I had closed a $420,000 corporate retreat that morning. They never asked how I afforded my car, my condo, my travel. Assumption was easier than curiosity. When I once mentioned flying out for a client, my mother smirked. Business? You mean your little cooking hobby? Second signal, my childhood bedroom. I came home 2 summers ago to discover it converted into overflow storage for Ashley's wardrobe. My trophies, my books, boxed basement. Ashley got the entire 3rd floor renovated with a home office and a ridiculous walk-in closet, courtesy of our parents. One child was an investment, the other was a utility. Message received. I zipped the suitcase and remembered our company party last week. My team had surprised me, confetti cannons and a cake shaped like the North Star, for landing the Horizon opportunity. 42 people who saw me, who counted on me. My phone lit again. Mom's email with the subject line, Christmas Eve menu, urgent. I opened it. 6 mains, 12 sides, 5 people with dietary restrictions, wine pairings, dessert courses. She had dictated plating notes, for heaven's sake. Use the crystal and the silver with the monogram, she wrote. These are important people. Then I saw it, buried in her guest list. Olivia Ramos, CEO, Horizon Hospitality. I blinked. The woman I was scheduled to meet in San Diego the next evening was going to be in my parents' living room, expecting dinner designed by their unemployed son. Ashley's text arrived seconds later. Mom says Olivia Ramos will be there. Huge in hospitality. I'm pitching her PR. Don't humiliate me with amateur food. I had catered Horizon's Pacific retreat last quarter for 500 people, handled through my executive team, so Olivia and I hadn't met face-to-face yet. That meeting was set for the 26th. I stared at my ticket, my contract, then the menu. The choice wasn't just clear. It was overdue. I called my mother. She answered on the first ring. Good. You're taking this seriously. Mom, I can't do it. Silence. Then the temperature in her voice dropped. What do you mean you can't? I'm on a business trip. I fly to San Diego tonight. Ridiculous. What business? An important meeting. She laughed, sharp as glass. Ethan, stop being dramatic. Your sister needs this. Ashley can hire a caterer. With what money? Do you know what professionals cost? The irony almost made me choke. Family comes first, she snapped. Or are you too selfish to understand that? I understand perfectly. Family comes first when you need something from me. How dare you? When's the last time you asked about my life, Mom? We know your life, Ethan. You dabble with that cooking hobby of yours and live in that little apartment. I'm a CEO. Another laugh, uglier than the first. A CEO? Ethan, don't be ridiculous. A CEO of what? A make-believe company you run from your kitchen counter? It's not imaginary. I have 42 employees. Enough fantasies. Ashley needs this. You owe us. I owe you. We raised you, fed you, kept you in our home. While treating me like staff. You're being dramatic. What else are you doing tomorrow? Sitting alone on Christmas week? I have a flight at 7:20 p.m. Cancel it. No. If you leave, don't bother coming back. It was an old threat. It had worked before. Not this time. Then I guess this is goodbye. You cannot be serious. I'm done being the family servant. You ungrateful. I hung up. My hands trembled, but not from fear. From freedom. Texts detonated. Ashley, Mom is melting down. Stop being insane and get over here. I powered my phone off. Then back on, only to set one boundary. Ashley called instantly, already screaming that I was ruining everything because Olivia Ramos was coming. When I told her I owned a catering company, she dismissed it as just cooking for people sometimes and condescendingly offered me $200 for my trouble, as if I were a teenager mowing the lawn. I almost laughed. My private chef day rate started at $3,200. I'm not coming. Mom will disown you. That's her choice. You're going to ruin my big night. Hire a caterer for December 23rd. Are you insane? No one's available. On my counter sat a note with 3 emergency caterers and their hotlines. I had written it to satisfy my conscience. Try the 24-hour hotlines, I said. You're selfish. I'm being professional. What business? Stop pretending. My rideshare notification popped up. I have to go. If you do this, you're dead to us. I'm already invisible to you. What's the difference? I hung up, left the emergency numbers and my business card on the counter, grabbed my bags, and headed for the airport. The plane lifted off from Seattle-Tacoma at exactly 7:29 p.m. The Seattle lights slid beneath the wing like a runway of stars. Somewhere across the country, my mother was dialing every restaurant in a 50-mile radius with growing panic. I opened the Horizon contract again. Clause 12. 4. Founder/CEO presence required for strategic planning. Olivia had inserted it herself. My inbox pinged over the plane Wi-Fi. Horizon's team confirming the pre-meeting dinner on the 26th at 7 p.m. and the board presentation the next morning at 10 a.m. If I showed up and delivered, North Star Events would become Horizon's exclusive partner for their 4 California resorts. That was not just revenue. That was a new altitude for my company, and security for everyone who relied on me. My CFO texted, confirming you'll be at the dinner tomorrow night. Olivia mentioned she admires founders who built without family money or connections. I smirked. She had no idea how on point that was. Another email slid in from Incorporated magazine. Final proof approved. Cover goes live at midnight on the 28th. The headline, From Overlooked to Unstoppable, How Ethan Parker Built a Hospitality Powerhouse Without a Dollar of Family Money. The timing was a little poetic. The Horizon Suite in San Diego looked out over the marina. A chilled bottle waited with a scrawled note. Welcome, Mr. Parker. Excited for tomorrow. O.R. I showered, checked my phone, dozens of missed calls from my mother, a swarm from Ashley, even a rare cluster from my father, and ignored them. Another email from Olivia. I'll be late to the pre-meeting dinner tomorrow. Coming straight from a social obligation in Massachusetts. Hope that's fine. Massachusetts. She would be at my parents' house right that minute. I pictured the Waterford Crystal crowd staring down at cardboard boxes of something greasy while my mother tried to spin the story into an art piece. I slept like the world couldn't bother me. Morning. Sunshine on the bay. Coffee. Notes. Rehearsals. Then curiosity won. I powered my phone. The messages told the entire disaster on fast forward. By 6:15 p.m. on the 23rd, my mother realized I wasn't coming. The fridge held only basics. 32 hungry guests were due within the hour. Ashley's texts read like alarm bells. Mom is calling everywhere. Everything's closed. How could you? My father, at 6:52 p.m. Your mother is upset. Please reconsider. At 7:05 p.m. guests began to arrive. Investment bankers, PR directors, and, yes, Olivia Ramos. At 7:21 p.m. We're ordering pizza. Do you understand what you've done? By 7:47 p.m. Mom told everyone you're unreliable. She's blaming you. The crowning moment at 8:19 p.m. The food is Little Caesars and Pizza Hut because one place couldn't send enough. Olivia looks disgusted. People are leaving. At 9:02 p.m. Party is over. Olivia didn't stay for dessert. Mom says you're dead to her. I ordered room service and reviewed my slides. The next evening, I arrived for the pre-meeting dinner early, in a charcoal suit that actually fit like it should. I expected to talk about supply chains and menu innovation. I did not expect Olivia to walk in shaking her head and laughing softly to herself. Ethan, she said, extending her hand. I owe you an apology for being a few minutes late. I just flew in from the most surreal holiday gathering in Massachusetts. What happened? I asked, voice even. I was invited to a polished dinner party in Wellesley. The hostess, Diane Parker, funny coincidence on the last name, promised an elaborate meal prepared by her son. She paused, studying my face. I only raised an eyebrow. We arrived to chaos. Empty kitchen. No food. The hostess was ordering pizza in a panic. And then she spent half the time insulting her older child, calling him unreliable and well. Olivia grimaced. It was the least professional evening I've attended all year. She swiped her phone and showed me a photo. My mother, flushed and furious, paper pizza boxes crowding an heirloom table. Ashley hovered in the background, forced smile cracking. If this had been a painting, the title would have been Consequences Served Hot. That sounds awkward, I said. It gets worse. The younger sister tried to pitch me PR while balancing a slice on a china plate. I left 20 minutes later. Olivia set the phone face down, exhaled, and smiled at me. Let's talk about your company. If you're wondering whether I revealed everything right then, I didn't. Sometimes timing is a spice. And the next day, the universe handled the reveal for me. On December 26th at exactly 10 a.m., I stood in Horizon's boardroom, the contract on the table. My presentation hit right where it needed to: operational excellence, creative differentiation, obsessively consistent service. We were cruising towards signatures when Olivia's assistant stepped in with a tablet. Ms. Ramos, there's a photo from last night trending on LinkedIn. Olivia glanced down at the tablet, and a flicker of recognition crossed her face before she froze. Her eyes, sharp and analytical, flicked from the screen to me, then back again, connecting dots at a speed I could almost see. Ethan, she said, voice carefully neutral. This photograph on the wall, that was taken at the Parker house in Wellesley, wasn't it? She turned the tablet. It was a family picture from last Thanksgiving hanging on my parents' wall. Ashley front and center with our parents. Me in the background, dish towel slung over my shoulder like a uniform. Is that you? Yes. Diane Parker is your mother? Yes. The room went static. Pen stopped. Chair stopped creaking. Breathing stopped. The woman who called you unreliable last night is your mother, Olivia said. Yes. And you were supposed to cook that dinner. I was. I chose to be here instead. Olivia took a slow breath, like she was recalibrating how gravity worked. Your mother told her guests you don't have a job and that you mostly cook at home. She didn't know you run North Star events. She doesn't know much because she never asks, I said. Let me make sure I have this straight, said Eric, Horizon COO. Your family has no idea you lead one of the most sought-after catering companies in our space. They think I'm between jobs in a studio apartment, I said. It's actually a condo. 2 bedrooms. Olivia started laughing. Real laughter, not polite. Good grief. She spent an evening complaining about her disappointing son. Meanwhile, the son is the founder I've been trying to meet for months. She glanced at her team. We are about to sign the most satisfying contract in company history. Her assistant, still in the doorway, cleared his throat. There's more. Incorporated magazine just pushed their cover announcement for the 28th. It's Ethan. He tapped a key, and the boardroom screen flashed with my photo. The headline read exactly as promised. A quote from the article scrolled under my name. I built North Star events without $1 of family money or connections. Olivia looked at me like she wanted to buy a round for fate. Your family still doesn't know? They will when everyone else does, I said. She nodded, stepped into the hall, made a quick call, and returned with a look I will never forget. I just called Diane Parker, she said. My stomach dropped. You what? I told her last night's event was unacceptable and that we were moving business elsewhere. She tried to blame her son, the unreliable one. So I told her I was signing a contract for $1,800,000 today with the most impressive entrepreneur I know, her son, Ethan Parker, CEO of North Star Events. Olivia's eyes danced. She hung up. My phone vibrated like a wasp nest. Calls from my mother, my sister, my father. Olivia slid the contract across the table. Shall we sign? We signed. We clinked champagne. We took a photo. 15 minutes later, Olivia posted it to LinkedIn with a caption that should have been framed. Thrilled to announce a multi-year partnership with North Star Events and their extraordinary CEO, Ethan Parker. Built from scratch, powered by excellence. She tagged North Star, Horizon, and, because she is merciless and righteous in equal measure, Diane Parker of Wellesley, Massachusetts. The internet works fast. So did the country club rumor mill. Ashley called while we were still in the boardroom. Tell me this is some prank, she whispered, empty of her usual theater. It's real, I said, on speaker with Olivia's thumbs up. You've been a CEO this whole time. For how long? 6 years. Why didn't you tell us? You never asked. Mom is... I've never seen her like this. Everyone saw the post. People are asking how we didn't know. What do I say? The truth, I said. We don't do well with that in our family. Might be time to try. Ethan, I'm done being the help until you need a miracle. Don't be cold. I'm not cold. I'm finished being small. I hung up. Olivia raised her glass. To boundaries. That evening, I called my mother. She answered instantly, crying, and demanded to know how I could have done this to them. She accused me of humiliating the family, explaining that Olivia had told everyone about my company, and now they looked like fools. I simply reminded her that the reason they looked foolish was because, in all these years, they had never once asked about my life. We asked. We knew you cooked sometimes. You assumed. For 6 years you've introduced me as unemployed. You've never visited my apartment. You don't know my address. You should have told us. I tried. Remember 3 years ago when I mentioned landing a major client? You pivoted to Ashley's energy drink rollout before I finished my sentence. You said, "That's nice, dear, but Ashley is really taking off." Silence. I left emergency numbers on my counter. I added, "You could have saved last night. We don't have keys to your place. You never asked for one." You've become cruel, she said. No, Mom. I've become honest. I employ 42 people. We have 4 locations. We've been featured. We were nominated for an industry award. You decided it was simpler if I stayed your scullery son. What do you want from us? Nothing. That's the point. The article, that magazine, you told them about us. I told them the truth. If the truth embarrasses you, maybe ask why. I heard my father's voice in the background, low and uncharacteristically firm. Diane, listen to him. I'm done listening, she snapped. Then to me, you've destroyed this family. No, Mom. I finally stopped letting the family destroy me. I hung up and went for a walk along the marina. The night air felt like new oxygen. The social fallout was fast and brutal, but not for me. Within 48 hours of Olivia's post, my family's curated image cracked. Ashley texted updates like dispatches from a collapsing opera. Horizon canceled our PR pitch. 2 clients pulled out. Mom was asked to step down from a charity board. Unrelated, but everyone knows why. Dad's friends are asking how he missed that his son is a millionaire. When the ink cover hit on the 28th, the quote that echoed through Wellesley landed like a gavel. I built without a dollar of family money. The punch in paragraph 3 was worse. Sometimes it's easier to build an empire in silence than to argue with the people who refuse to see you. My father called me directly for the first time in years. Ethan, he said, I saw North Star on the state registry years ago when mail was misdirected. I knew you were doing something. Your mother curated a story about our family, and in her version, you had a designated role. It was simpler for me not to challenge it. I should have, and the fact that I didn't is a source of deep shame for me now. Why didn't you? I asked, not unkindly. Because silence is easy. Because she is loud. Because I was weak. He exhaled. You built something remarkable. We missed it because it was easier not to look. It's not too late to look, I said. He swallowed. The pizza thing is already legend, you know. Diane's serving Little Caesars on Crystal while her son signs a 7-figure contract the next day. The universe has a sense of humor. Dad, I don't apologize for any of it, I said. You all earned your consequences. While Wellesley stared at its shoes, my world lit up. The incorporated article included the photo of me signing with Horizon. The contrast to that Thanksgiving wall photo, the one where I hovered like a busboy, was not subtle. Within a week, North Star received over 200 inquiries. Prospects who had wavered suddenly wired deposits. My inbox filled with keynote invitations, panel requests, brand partnerships. Olivia became my loudest champion, introducing me to people I'd only read about, telling the Christmas week story with wicked delight. Imagine, she'd say, having a golden goose in your house and scolding it for not laying deviled eggs. 3 contracts arrived from her network alone, worth a combined $8,600,000. I hired 18 new employees to keep up. I promoted Maya, my head chef, to executive culinary director, and Jordan, my operations linchpin, to COO. In our expansion meeting, Maya said, "You attract people who've been overlooked. That's the heartbeat here." She was right. I had built a company of second chances and first-rate talent. The best email came from Cornell School of Hotel Administration. Please join us to speak on building success without permission. It was the school I had once considered, then shelved because the family narrative said, "You're not that guy." Turns out, I was exactly that guy. Weeks passed. My mother's text shifted from rage to pleading. I waited. 3 months after the Horizon signing, I agreed to meet my family at a quiet restaurant in Manhattan. My territory. They arrived smaller than I remembered. My mother's theatrical edge was dulled. Ashley's smugness had evaporated. My father looked like he'd put his armor down. Before they spoke, I placed a single sheet of paper on the table. My terms, I said. 1. Respect or no contact. 2. I am never your staff again. 3. Public acknowledgement of my work. 4. Real apologies, not the kind that say, "I'm sorry you felt." 5. Therapy. Family and individual. This is non-negotiable, I added. I will be your son, not your servant. Ashley's brother, not her sous chef. My mother nodded, eyes wet. We've lost so much, she said. Reputation. Clients. That isn't my responsibility, I said. We know, my father cut in. We're not here to blame you. We're here to ask for a chance to rebuild, if you'll allow it. Ashley cleared her throat. I was jealous, she said. I let Mom make me feel big by making you small. I'm in therapy now. The counselor says we built a family system where someone had to be the scapegoat. That was you. You never agreed, but you were drafted. I'm sorry. My mother reached, but stopped short of my hand. I'm sorry for all the years, she said. Not just for December. I turned you in to help because I couldn't stand the idea that you might be more successful than the plan I had for you. I took a long breath. I'll consider this, I said. But understand something. I'm not walking back into the same house. If we rebuild, it is as equals. And Mom, if you ever want North Star to cater anything, you pay the rate everyone else pays. For the first time in months, she smiled. Fair. 6 months later, I hosted my first family dinner in my actual home. The two-bedroom condo in Seattle with the view they had never seen because they'd never asked where I lived. My team handled the food. I don't cook for family gatherings anymore. That boundary is carved in granite. We sat. We ate. We talked like people who had started telling the truth. I raised my glass. Clarity, I said, and consequences. May we keep both. My mother nodded. Therapy had softened her certainty and sharpened her empathy. She had made a public apology at the country club that didn't fix her reputation, but started fixing our relationship. Ashley's firm had shrunk, then stabilized. She came to me, professionally, and asked if North Star would consider hiring her for a campaign. I told her to submit a proposal like everyone else. She did. It was good. We considered it. My father introduced me now with a pride that didn't gulp for air. My son, Ethan, the CEO. The biggest change was in me. I stopped shrinking. North Star grew to 100 employees across 5 cities. The incorporated cover led to a documentary deal. I marked the contract on my office wall like a compass point. The day I chose my people and myself over a family script that had always ended with me in an apron. Sometimes the best revenge is not public humiliation or a master plan. It's building a life so solid, so aligned, that the people who tried to keep you small have to recalibrate their entire definition of you. Sometimes the best revenge is a boundary. If you've ever been the overlooked one, the person whose value is measured only in favors, know this. Your worth is not a group project. You don't have to light yourself on fire to warm a room that refuses to close its windows. The most profound success is a life built on your own terms, and the best revenge is a boundary.